It's the Critical Rocket Town Hall Roundup of February 26th, 2016. Obviously, today it's good old Russie Ramblin' Bullock with his two stooges of No Guts, No Galaxy backing him up in the whole thing. So, after the initial talk about beer, because that's what everyone turned up for, the discussion was going to have highlights about the March roadmap, the 2016 PvP tourney, and the beer talk. That was a highlight that they started kicking off, and then about male grooming. That was part of the discussion. I shit you not. So Russ kicked off talking about how he likes the idea of really long town halls. For me, this means they go on till about 5 in the morning. I really hope he doesn't do more of them like that, because they really, really kill me. So he wants to do the same system as he did in the previous town hall. I think this is how it's going to be. So he kicks off with the roadmap, and obviously he tells us about the Archer coming out with the March 15th patch. So we now have the exact date for the March patch. Not really that surprising, but you know, some people like to know these things. He says that the big patches have been popular. We've only had one, but I guess by one it's been popular. He then mentions how he really likes these new classic mechs, as he's calling them, not the Unseens. He says that these original four remind him of Gundams, which is, well, in one way it's incorrect, because they're not Gundams, obviously. They're mecha from a totally different anime. And the other problem is, Russ, of course they remind you of that, because they come from a mecha show. So, not really surprising. But he's a bit drunk, so we'll let him off for that one, I guess. It's just he has a tendency to say weird shit. So Russ has this weird thing. I assume again this might have been down to the drink. I'm not quite sure, but he talks about how he's not sure about how the one patch a month thing is going to work. Whether that's strictly going to be the process going forward now, or whether that's going to change. I don't know. He didn't really go into details. I can't say otherwise. So he mentions that. He said that first up on March 15th after the Archer, we've also got the new map. There's no name for it yet, but it's basically the Grim Portico texture set. Now, if you've played Grim Portico, it's a community warfare map that's supposed to be based on tourmaline. So there'll be lots of massive crystal spires and stuff sticking out of the ground. Should be a bit cooler if they're using that kind of setup as well. Maybe they're just using the textures. But either way, it's going to be another map, roughly tourmaline in size, maybe a little bit bigger. So it's going to be decent for that. It's going to have a medium sort of areas of combat that are going to allow for brawling and sniping type gameplay. So should hit the marks for everybody there for all different playstyles, which is an important thing with maps, to be honest. We go on, then he mentioned movement code. They've been tightening up that system apparently for the IK or inverse kinematics, that kind of thing. Basically, the mechs will hitch less on small environmental objects, so it better reflects the idea that these large war machines are stepping over things. So I'm getting the impression this means certain fences that aren't yet destructible in the environment, rocks and trees, that kind of thing, will no longer be a detriment to movement for the likes of your Atlas or your Dire Wolf, that kind of thing. So that'll be nice to see. As I've written here, essentially make it easier to move around. The new game mode will be coming in March, which is tentatively being called Domination, but they may change the name. This is basically King of the Hill. So the idea is there's going to be one large central point, or maybe there's just one large point somewhere. Presumably it's a centre for balance reasons. Both teams have to try and capture this. I assume this means filling a bar or maybe gaining enough points. But there are two or more, I'm not quite sure, he didn't give any specifics, but there's going to be other points that are dotted around, and if you capture them, giving a roll for smaller, faster mechs, this will increase the rate at which you cap the main point. So, it's a new game type. Can't complain, we haven't had a new game type for 2 years, maybe more? I mean, Conquest was a new one after... Yeah, so... Conquest. Yeah, it's probably nearly 2 years, if not 2 years. So that's a nice thing. Also, we talk about. Yes, he then mentioned changes to Conquest. This one divided people a little, and I can see why. I'm assuming there are going to be some changes to this, though. or different mechanics. But basically, when you play Conquest now, even if you're on the team that get killed, so all 12 of you are dead, the round doesn't end. In fact, the round keeps playing as long as you've got points. So if you've captured 4 of the 5 points and you're all dead, you might still win on points unless the other team cap them in time and obviously make sure that their score goes up. To make this more fun, they've made it so you can spectate the points. That's about it, really. Some people didn't like this idea, of course. Some people thought that it was just going to make matches longer, drag them out, and was kind of unnecessary. But there's already the people who dislike Conquest, and there's people who love Conquest, so it's going to be one of those things where if you absolutely detest Conquest, you're never going to vote for it, and other people are always going to vote for it. So these changes, I think, will have to be seen before we have a better understanding of exactly what it was Russ was aiming at. I'm assuming when you kill everybody on the other team and you cap all the points, the points counter will just zip up really fast to 750 just to end it straight away, because I don't see the point in... if you kill everybody and you have a really good round, like 3 minutes in, you've killed the other team and you've capped all the points, but you're just waiting for a timer. It's kind of boring. It doesn't really make sense. So I assume that'll speed up. I say assume, this is PGI. Assault mode will change, but it won't be this month, apparently. Assault mode will still be 2 bases, but now they'll have walls and gates and all this new snazzy shit. There'll be new assets that they're making for this mode. And essentially, it will mean that there will be towers that have an ECM field and a UAV capability. There'll be turrets, and again, the game type only ends when one base is capped or not. This one I'm not so sure about. I assume if all the other team die, then you automatically win. I don't know. Again, Russ wasn't exactly... I'm looking at it again. I've written again, though, you still need to cap to win. I'm not quite sure whether that is actually true. Base capping is different... changes to capping players, that's right. Yeah, another change that's coming in. I don't know if this will be with the Conquest update or whether this will be with the Assault mode update, but now when you shoot a player who's capping a point, they can't cap for a few seconds. So if you see that little locust or whatever hiding behind the struts on a Conquest point and you hit his leg, he's immediately not capping the point anymore. So it actually puts the emphasis on him to get the fuck out of dodge rather than just hiding there until he caps and then runs away. So that's a nice change. It's stuff that we've been seeing in shooters for a long time. It's just PGI, I guess, are playing catch up a bit there. There was a lot of hoo-ha going on in the chat. I made a note about a guy called Heimdelight who was having a bit of an argument with NGNG. I didn't like the way NGNG handled the situation, being that they're the official mouthpiece. They kind of singled him out and attacked him. In the chat, I didn't think that was right. Other people arguing in chat's one thing, and NGNG can moderate and say, keep it civil, but actually having the NGNG chat, having a go at that person, I thought was a bit of a no-no, to be honest, even if most people were on their side. The guy wasn't spouting like, Russ Bullock's a fucking idiot and he should be fired or something. He had genuine complaints about the mode changes. He didn't vocalize them in a well-written critique, but he didn't swear or anything. He just said these changes are going to be awful. That's his opinion. So to single him out in the chat for that, so it seemed like they were just purposely trying to get other people to have a go at him. It basically caused an argument that lasted the entire thing. It was a bit stupid. So, so the game mode vote changes are coming as well with March 15th patch. This means now that you won't be able to play the mini-game where you jump between match types and maps constantly to try and get your multiplier to like times 12 or whatever. Once you pick a map, you are locked in. You can't see the percentages until you pick a map, and it's the same with the game mode. So it emphasizes more on what you want to play rather than trying to play a little system. It was a fun game, but I can see why they're doing it. It's not a bad thing. So yes. Oh, that's right, yeah. March patch will give every mech their 2K textures, so every mech across the board will look a little bit better than they do, because as we know, some mechs look a bit rough close up, a bit like the Hunchback. I'm thinking the 4G has some pretty bad right shoulder textures going on that AC20 slot, so I'm assuming they're going to look a bit sharper. But 4K apparently is still quite a way off. We're also getting the new pilot model, if you're asked about that, if you're interested in looking at your character's legs. Yeah, after that there was auto moderation for team kill and team damage. So this is going to be important for some people who've been having a bit of a bad time in things like Community Warfare and maybe even the public queue at lower tiers like 4 and 5. Basically, if you perform too many team kills, like maybe I assume even one team kill in a match, will get you a penalty for rejoining a match. I'm not sure how long that is. They haven't given any hard numbers. But basically, if you do team damage above a certain threshold in a match as well, you'll also be penalised. And the more you do it, the longer and longer and longer it sort of stacks up. So even if you wait for that, for say it's like a minute or 2 minutes before you can join a match after you reach that threshold or that team kill, if you do it again, it'll be even longer the next time. So it's supposed to be a way of, so their support people aren't completely swamped with like folk obviously sending in tickets about this guy's an asshole and he was TKing a team and stuff. So hopefully that'll work. Hopefully they won't make the threshold too low for team damage because accidents do happen, Let's see. Oh yeah, this also sparked a 10-minute discussion about Sean Lang's average team damage. I don't know why we had to find that out. It just did. There are 9 new champion mechs being added. No details on what those are, and they're tweaking all of the champions, the existing ones as well, to make them better. The main reason they're doing this is so they can sell more packs for new players. I assume this will be things that will go on the Steam store, more mastery packs, that kind of thing. Also, the Flamer will be getting a HUD rework. To be honest, I'd prefer it to just go back to how it was. I like the old Flamer effect. The new one just looks like a jet exhaust. Looks a bit strange. Yes, this was another one that caused a little bit of controversy in the chat, and there's no doubt caused a bit of problem on the general discussion forum on the official site. But there was a question about the ban wave. Now, if you remember last month, Russ mentioned that they have the next lot of cheats up for being kicked from the game, for being cheating bastards. Sadly, this seems to have fizzled out. Many people wanted heads on pikes, they wanted name and shame, they wanted a guarantee that all the cheats that they've detected are going to be removed from the game. It didn't. Basically, Russ spends a long time to say that they're not going to do that, and in fact all they're doing is monitoring the existing cheats, because apparently the number of cheats is about a percent of 1% of players currently in MechWarrior Online. Okay, that's very small, but it still doesn't remove the fact that there's that less than 1% chance you're going to drop with one of these cheats and they're going to ruin the game. And that's not a good sign. That's not really what you want. Cheats in any game is shit for an online shooter. In any RTS, in any sports title, you don't want cheats. Why you would want to keep the cheats in the system is anybody's guess. It's very wishy-washy. He talks about how, they've been delving deep into the anti-cheat underworld and all this shit, but to be honest, it just sounds like horse shit to me. A lot of people in chat were very annoyed. A lot of people were throwing out that he's not banning them because these cheats are people who spent a lot of money on the game, or that they just basically can't be asked, or they don't even know. Who knows? We're not going to see a ban wave. They're not going to do it. Make of that what you will. This also brought up information regarding the tournament. Will the tournament be on a secure site, or will people be playing with their own systems, that kind of thing? And apparently they will be on secure site on different systems, so there won't be any compromise there. Luckily, I don't know if I went past the tournament stuff. No, I don't think I did. Let's see. He mentioned that the tournament that will have their sign-ups in April will be 8v8. So if you've got a 12-man team, you might need to start cutting a few people from your list. You can bring 4 subs, though, so if you need to switch people out during the matches, you can. Apparently they've been getting advice from different groups and comp teams and stuff about how they should handle the tournament and setting it up. And at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be Vancouver or somewhere within the Pacific Standard Time area for holding the tournament. The April patch, as I said, will be the sign-up, but there will also be a mini bundle that will be available for, I don't know, a few dollars, whatever. It'll be limited time, and it'll get you some cockpit items related to the tournament that apparently will have some XP boost or something on them. The idea in this is apparently other major competitive games will do these kind of things to increase the prize pot, which at the start of this tournament will be $100,000. I assume that's US, not Canadian, because that would be shit. and all the money that goes into buying these little packs for your cockpit will, increase the prize pool. So I mean, they're aiming for maybe getting 50,000. I don't know if they'll get that. Who knows? Yes, prize tourney, cockpit items. Yes, there was also mention that the tournament will have a specific build of MechWarrior Online for that scene. So it won't be using the current public build, it won't be using a test build, it will be using its own version of MWO, basically. It's anyone's guess again what that could be. They may even just make all weapons equal across the board. I don't know. Whatever they decide. They might just make clans and Innisphere completely equal, just for balance sake. I don't know. That's all up for discussion. The April 19th patch will also be the release of Phase 3 for Community Warfare, so all those big changes that he's been talking about for about 5 or 6 months will finally be hitting the game. Apparently all of that stuff is in testing, so that's good to hear. Apparently the rescale is in full production. They've calculated everything for the mech rescale, so all mechs will be a little bit smaller than they currently are, which would be good for the maps, for scale, obviously. Some maps like Canyon Network don't quite work with the current scale, but he showed off a Nova compared to the current one and the 18% reduction, and it's quite a sizable change in the base Nova size. So it'd be interesting to see what all the mechs are going to be like that. And apparently this is going to be hitting in, I believe I said it will all be done by May, I think. Yes, or a little later, so maybe June. May or June there, so it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be every single mech in the game. I assume current and existing going forward. So the Archer and the Kodiak and that will be getting their changes as well. Presumably the Archer and the Kodiak will actually already be in scale to what they want them to be. So yeah, that'd be cool. Decals, decals, dickles, deckle, wackle, buckle, whatever fucking people are calling them these days. The initial release of that will be rolling around. There won't be any custom images, so yeah, as the joke was, you're not going to be able to put a giant knob on the side of your catapult, that kind of thing, But there'll be a bunch of stock ones, so presumably there'll be things like faction symbols and the like. I don't expect mercenary company symbols, because they probably don't own the rights to use those, because they can't do any skins. So yeah, I'd expect being able to put your clan logo on your mech, or being able to put your Innisphere house faction on your mech, that kind of thing. I hope they do a few others, Nova Cat, Steel Viper, Periphery stuff. That would be nice. It'd be pretty cool to have. But yeah, April patch is when we're going to see decals at last. That's about 3 years in the making for that little feature. A couple of minor things. PPCs are getting a tweak in both their travel speed, and their heat is being slightly reduced. The LBX is also getting a tighter spread on its shot. I believe this must be the LBX 10. It could be all of them, but I don't know. He didn't really go into specifics on that one. He also wants to... Oh, this was interesting. Yeah, tweak AMS, so you actually get rewards for shooting down missiles that were going to hit a friendly. So that's quite nice. It'll definitely encourage people to bring more AMS and obviously work to clear those skies of missiles. Quite nice. Apparently, the most significant... I take this as the most significant announcement of the whole thing is a work on a new heat scale to MechWarrior. Now again, this pissed a few people off and made a few people happy. It's a very polarizing subject. Basically, Ghost Heat, Russ admits, isn't working as intended, but no shit, everyone who's been playing it for a while already knows that's the case. But basically, Ghost Heat is either going to change drastically or be removed in favour of this new system. He didn't go into specifics, but he's hoping it's going to be a system that will pretty much stop you from being able to alpha strike all the time. He's not saying he's going to remove alphas from the game. You'll be able to do a couple, or 2 or 3 maybe, in a match, but it'll be enough that you will have to actually use your weapons tactically and intelligently, rather than just pressing the big red button to fire everything at once. So I'm looking forward to it. I know some people are not going to be looking forward to it, and I'm sure there's going to be knock-on effects that they haven't seen that other people are going to see. It's probably all going to be raging in the fucking forums again, so if you want to keep an eye on that, I'd check out the general discussion forum just to see what people are making of that. This change for the heat scale won't have any effect on the tournament, though, so don't worry. If your strategy is all about alpha striking, yeah, you're safe where that's concerned. And I couldn't stay up for the general Q&A, but those things never really go anywhere anyway. But the most significant announcement, mech-wise, was the Phoenix Hawk. Now, this is going up a bit late, so you probably already know that. But the Phoenix Hawk is the new mech for the Innisphere, 45 ton. It's another Unseen, one of the all-time favourites, I think, for a lot of BattleTech players who like very manoeuvrable medium supports. The base loadout on the Phoenix Hawk is a large laser, 2 mediums and 2 machine guns. Decent speed, decent jump distance. So on tabletop it was a particularly nasty 45 tonner because something with a large laser, that was pretty good damage considering the fact that I've been told it moves 5 and 8. That means it can run 5 hexes and jump 8 hexes, which is a pretty significant distance on a hex board, trust me. So the machine guns were good for anti-infantry and the medium lasers were a good backup when you were in range. So 2 large and 2 medium lasers, pretty decent. The other builds out there I've had a look at, and variants-wise, you're going to be looking at things like the occasional ERPPC instead of the large laser, pulse lasers for the mediums instead of regulars, dropping the machine guns in a lot of cases. I think one build even removes the jump jets for more armor and heat sinks. So yeah, I mean it's not going to be the most inventive mech variant-wise, but this is Mech Online. People find ways of making them far more. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a 3 large pulse build within a day of the mech going live. So this will be after the Kodiak as far as release schedule goes. So what's it? We've got the Archer, nothing in April, so May. So I think it's June we'll see the Phoenix Hawk. So the pack for the Phoenix Hawk is, again, if you bothered about price, this one is definitely going to tick you off a bit more because you're going to be looking at your $20 for your standard, your $40 for your collector, $15 each for 2 heroes. They're doing Shin Yodama's and Paul Masters Phoenix Hawks. So if you like your hero mechs, there's going to be a whole extra $30 worth on top of your base package, wherever you pick there. Then there's a reinforcements pack on top of that, which gives more variants, just like the Kodiak did. So you could be looking at, what, 20, 50, maybe like $65 probably if you're buying the 2 heroes and the standard one. If you go whack another 20 on, so it could be $85 maximum if you wanted to buy everything. That's your choice, but somebody's going to be pissed about the fact that it will cost you $85 to have everything to do with the Phoenix Hawk. Me personally, I'll probably just pick up the standard for $20. I'm not asked about the extra variants. There'll be C-bills further down the line. I don't really care. I'll just get the Shadow Hawk, Phoenix Hawk, and yeah, run with that. So that's me droning on for nearly 23 minutes about the Town Hall. And so I hope that's been helpful. What do you think about some of the changes that have been announced? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they'll all go wrong? Do you think they'll make the game better? Let's find out. So have a good one, everyone. Crystal Rocket signing out.